that just about any veteran out there that's in this audience could probably get up here and tell their story with a heartfelt eloquence. But for tonight, you're stuck with me. My short military career started with 2 enlistments in the United States Marine Corps. Now, when I tell you why I chose the Marine Corps, you're going to probably think it was a little bit shallow of me. I was at career day at my high school, and all the branches of service were coming in, and all of a sudden the doors opened up. There was double doors. And down the middle aisle walked 2 Marines in this uniform. There was a light shining in the door behind their back. And they walked in, they were in step together. I just had never seen anything like it before in my life. And I remember saying to myself, I have to wear that uniform. I kept thinking when I look back on it, it's kind of a shallow reason to join the military. But at that time, that was even though I had no idea, I had never thought about joining the military. I decided to join after seeing those 2 Marines in there. So I volunteered and entered the boot camp under what was called the buddy system. 2 of my high school classmates and I joined, 1965. My first night entering boot camp, I had one question to ask myself. What have I done? Ladies and gentlemen, I had made a serious career error. Being an 18-year-old kid from a small town in Louisiana with less than 500 people, growing up in the 50s and 60s in Louisiana, joining the military was an eye-opening experience. You see, I grew up in, as you can imagine, a segregated society. I had never socialized with anyone outside of my race prior to going to the military. Believe this or not, I had never seen a Hispanic person. I had never seen an Asian. Again, this is the small town that I was in. There was just no one there like that. But one of the things I learned in the military was to appreciate and respect people from all races, religions, and culture. Again, it was an eye-opener for me. This is something that I took with me throughout my entire life. If my entry into the military was an abrupt initiation into manhood, then my time in Vietnam was an abrupt initiation into growing as a human being. Throughout my training and preparation for Vietnam, I had always trained with someone that I knew, and I felt comfortable with that. But all of that changed on my first day in Vietnam. I remember I was alone, taken by Jeep to my new unit, my new home. I was assigned as a rifleman in Kilo Company 3-3 in a little place called Dog Patch. I'm sure some of you Vietnam veterans can recall that. Dog Patch, outside of Da Nang. For the first time in my short military career, I did not know a single person. I was lonely and I felt isolated. But that feeling would be short-lived because I was welcomed with open arms by my fellow Marines. I began to understand what the term band of brothers actually meant. On our daily patrols and ambushes, we would have to go on one patrol, one ambush at night, and one during the day. We would lose at least one person every single patrol that we went on to booby traps. I quickly learned that if you didn't work as a team, you wouldn't have a team for very long. I observed Marines losing arms, legs, and their lives to these booby traps. It had a sobering effect on me. I was no longer in Kansas. This was for real. This was not a movie. This was not TV. This was war. My first major firefight is something that I will never forget. We were caught in a large ambush set up by the North Vietnamese. It would be the first time that I witnessed multiple injuries and deaths. It would also be the first time under fire that I personally had to carry dead and wounded Marines to helicopters for evacuation. On that same day, we were ordered to charge a tree line where the ambush was coming from. As we charged, you have to keep in mind, I'm 18 years old. I'm a kid. As we charged this tree line, and we were being fired upon, as you could hear the bullets whistling through the air. As an 18-year-old kid, I somehow accepted that I was going to die that very day. I just knew that I could not make it to that tree line. And strangely, as we were charging this tree line, my only concern, because I'd accepted that I was going to die, my only concern was that I wondered how my mother would take this. I wondered when she found out that her son was dead, what would be the effect on her? Strangely enough, also, I wondered things like, I had purchased her a gift in Japan. I kept thinking, she'll never get that gift. Someone's going to take it. It is interesting what goes through your mind when you think you're going to die. And when I look back on this now, I wonder, an 18-year-old kid, you should be somewhere playing ball. But there we were, like so many other 18-year-olds in Vietnam. As we started gathering near the tree line, we started approaching the tree line, it suddenly hit me, you know, I may survive this after all. I felt I'm still alive. Maybe, just maybe, I can survive this. And at that time, I began praying. I began praying over and over. I started a chant. The chant was, please God, don't let me die. Please God, don't let me die.